So what exactly is Kanban and why should you care? So to answer that question, why don't we first look at what's the problem that Kanban was intended to help resolve? So let's start with a dev team. So here's a pretty typical team. We've got a product manager, product management who's got an idea of a concept that will bring money to the company or generate revenue. We have a business analyst who can work with the product manager, turn their ideas into user stories. We have an implementation team which can take user stories, turn them into deliverable systems, and the test team that validates and verifies those systems. So pretty standard team. And the workflow, therefore, is just something like this. We have an idea, we have it analyzed into stories, we code it up, integrate it, and we test it. And that's how we deliver value. That's our value flow there, our value stream. Here's a couple of problems we can run into. First of all, we can take the dev team and they're just having a crackerjack day, right? Things are flowing for them, the stories are well written, they understand the stories, and they're just cranking code out and systems out really quickly. Unfortunately, our test team is falling behind. Now, maybe in past, 2 people have been adequate to keep up with the 3 members of the dev team, but let's say that we're running into a bunch of stories now that are easy to write, but very difficult to test. And so here's our test team falling behind and work piling up that they have to get done. So lots of work in progress that needs to get tested still. And then at the other extreme could be Carlos. Now, normally he's pretty good. He can write user stories up really quickly and feed a team of 3 developers. But sometimes, there's glitches that happen. There's stories that are much more complex and require a lot of analysis. And he's unable to keep up with the dev team. And in fact, he's starving the dev team. He's got a huge backlog or work in progress that he needs to get done to get those stories to the dev team. But he's struggling here. And of course, the consequence is the dev team is idle. They're starved for work. And then from Lawrence's point of view, the product manager, he's not seeing anything being done. He's expecting to have product in his hand. He wants to take his ideas and go out and sell them and generate revenue. And so he starts yelling at the team, and the team says, well, we're working really hard. And his response is, well, you may be working really hard, but I don't see anything getting done. And this is the crux of the issue. Everyone is busy. There's no doubt about that. They're working hard, but we're not getting anything done. We're not getting value through the system. What we have here is a lot of work in progress. So we have the partially completed stories, we have the untested work, we have the specs that haven't been fully written and can be given to the delivery team. And work in progress is a waste, because if you look at it, if we adopt lean thinking here, we want to minimize the time that it takes to go from a concept, from the moment that Lawrence, our product manager here, has an idea, to the time that we can put it into revenue service. And by having a lot of work in progress, we're delaying that because this is work that's sitting idle. It's like inventory. And so this is why in the lean world, work in progress is considered a waste. It is creating delay. And our goal in lean is to minimize the time it takes to go from concept to cash. So bottom line is we're really good here at getting things started. We're just not very good at getting things done. And let's take a page from the manufacturing world. Work in progress, the unfinished bits and pieces of products and services. When you walk into a manufacturing facility, you can see the work in progress. It's being held in large warehouses of inventory, parts boxes. One of the things that lean really imposed, or not imposed, but encouraged companies to do is understand how having large warehouses of work in progress was waste, and how it slowed down, how it created delays in their manufacturing process. It created waste. And so a lot of companies focused a lot of effort on minimizing the work in progress that they had to carry. They changed the way they worked such that they could minimize the amount of work in progress. You may have actually heard the term just-in-time manufacturing. It minimized the waste and shortened the time it took to get product out. Now, here's the challenge we have. In manufacturing, it was really easy to see that inventory was building up. You had a warehouse full of it. It was right there in front of you. You could trip over it. But in knowledge-based work, like software development, how do you see the inventory? How do you even know that you're carrying it? In manufacturing, there's actually accounting rules for how you report and carry inventory. We don't even have anything like that really in knowledge work or software development. And there's part of our problem. Inventory is invisible. How do you cope with something that's practically invisible? How do you know that you're actually starting to create a lot of work in progress that's slowing down your system and impeding your ability to quickly deliver value? Well, when manufacturing was running into this issue, and we're going back 30 years, and no conversation about lean or Kanban is complete without talking about the Toyota production system. And Toyota is credited with popularizing lean systems thinking for manufacturing. And one of the tools that they used to implement lean systems was Kanban. Now, originally Kanban was this, what you see here. It was a card, and it was a means of creating a pull-based system for different workstations or different steps in the workflow to create and assemble a car to manage their flow of work. You know, prior to these Kanban systems, there were large so-called push-based systems where various workstations would have a production schedule. They'd manufacture a bunch of parts. It would go into inventory, and then the next stage, when they wanted to build a car, they would pull parts from the inventory. Now, this Kanban card created a pull system where the card gets effectively passed up the value stream and gives permission to each of the different stages in the value stream to manufacture something. So it's just in time, and it avoided starvation, it avoided overproduction, it kept a system of flow in balance. Now, how do we apply this to knowledge work? Well, David Anderson published this book here, Kanban, and really provided a guidance on how Kanban could be applied to knowledge work. And the goal is quite simply, how do we make our value stream visible, and how do we make work in progress visible in order to minimize the work in progress and to manage our workflow? This is the essence of what we're trying to achieve using a Kanban system.